at the time didn't believe felons should lose their right to vote. So we always had one nay on that. I don't know what happens if a board of elections believed that they didn't approve removing these folks from the rolls. I don't know if there's a process that you guys have in place to validate that they have removed these people from the rolls. And I guess that's my first question. Is there a process that the state has in order to validate that the Board of Elections are actually doing this?
Yes, good question. First of all, I would echo your comments about Deirdre Holden and her team in Paulding County. I think they do a great job. The law for removing dead people and felons is a shall, and it says the election superintendent shall do this. What we provide the counties is the matched list, so they can go through and basically, just hit, kind of approve the ones that we've identified who are dead or convicted of felonies who are on the voter rolls. And we can see that on each county's voter registration dashboard. Are they running the processes that we've sent them? And we do keep up with counties on that. If they were not doing it, that would be a violation of the law. And if they persisted in not, what we have seen is sometimes when people get behind, we call and say, "Hey, you're not running this process," and they say, "Oh yeah, let me get to it." We have not seen anybody who's just, "No, I'm not going to do it." I mean, I think as you understood, kind of, and still do, of course, on the, and that's the position we're in too, that we follow laws that we disagree with all the time. That's, it's when you guys pass a law that takes the discretion away from us. And federal law, of course, it's the same thing. So we don't see people not doing it, but we do, and we would be watching for that.
My final question, and I appreciate that answer, is I've had a number of people, constituents, actually have submitted open records requests to the office. Secretary of State, they automatically pretty much get a 60-day response back. And I know you guys are inundated with that. I'm not sure if I believe that that's actually fallen under the law, being inundated by giving them a 60-day window. But I'm not a lawyer either. But I don't know how you guys, I think that needs to be fixed from a way that you're definitely inundated, and I sympathize with that wholeheartedly. But I also think we need to improve the process of how do we knock down all those requests. I don't think they're going away, and 2 months is too long in my mind for sunshine on some of these things. So if there's a way for you guys to, figure out a process in place to temporary help or whatever it is to help knock some of these down, that would be, a great, would be much appreciated on my side.
Certainly appreciate the offer of additional resources to
appropriations. I got you. All right. No further questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Representative Gullett. Representative Taylor, Chair Lady Taylor, and then Representative Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Like everybody else, I've had tens of thousands of constituents with issues and concerns about this election this year. A lot of it has to do with things like the ballots. They don't like paper ballots. And there's a big concern about the comparisons of signatures. A lot of these are things that we've talked about. The driver services uses the electronic signature pad, and it's very hard to use that as a comparison. The biggest concern of what I received a lot of complaints is why the Secretary of State sent out requests for absentee ballots. I know myself, I received 4 or 5 in addition to the one from the state. People want to know what that cost and why we did it. I don't see that that is a reason that we need to continue doing things like that. And it amplified the problems with the paper ballots. And is there some way that these ballots can be screened and checked and scanned in prior to the election day? This was another issue that we had with the counting locations. All of this was left until after it was over and some of our larger areas and counties, and that made it take weeks and weeks to be done. Why can't that be done ahead of time? And if you can give me some of those answers, and then I have one other question.
Thank you, Chairwoman. As to your first question about, yes, the Secretary of State's office did decide to send out absentee ballot applications for the primary election only. We did not send out any applications for the general election. The reason we did that was, as you can remember, that was kind of in the crux of COVID, and a lot of counties were having a very difficult time even finding voting locations that would agree to remain voting locations. We also faced lawsuits where people were asking judges to order us to send out not applications, but actual ballots to everybody. And that did happen in a lot of states where people were ordered to send out actual ballots. So, we sent out applications really for two reasons. One, to make sure that in the kind of crux of the COVID crisis, people could vote, and two, to make sure we protected Georgia's double signature verification process. If you send out ballots to everybody, you've gotten rid of an important protection that we have, which is in Georgia, signatures on absentee ballot applications have to be matched before the voter can even get a ballot. And so we wanted to make sure that was done, and that protection was not overridden. In the general, we did not send out any applications to anybody. A lot of third-party groups did, as you mentioned. I think I got the same amount that you talked about for the general election, and that's something that I think is problematic because it goes to what we were talking about with some of these third-party groups, where from what we're seeing so far in our investigations, they're not exercising a lot of responsibility in terms of making sure that people are still eligible to vote. For instance, when we send out applications, you can choose to run, to send them to, if the person has a new address. And we said, no, send them to the address on file. And if it comes back to us, then the county runs the return mail process like they normally do. Third-party groups are, trying to locate those people wherever they may be. And our position was, if you're not where you said you were, then you don't get this application. So I think we were able to do it responsibly, and to make sure that initial signature match protection remained in place. For the general election, we put in place, with the backing of the state election board, an absentee ballot portal that introduced the concept of a photo ID to requesting an absentee ballot. And I think what we've seen is that not only is it not more difficult, in the same way that photo ID at the polls has not really turned out to be a barrier, we've seen that people prefer it. Our online absentee portal requires your first name, last name, date of birth, and driver's license number to match before you're allowed to request a ballot. And I think that's even a better verification than a signature, because I don't even know my driver's license number. I have to look it up every time, or pull out my wallet and look at it every time. So that's what we did. And you asked another question that I forgot, Chairwoman.
Well, it really, I don't want to prolong it because we've talked about this and beat this horse till it can't go anymore. But in closing, I think the security of the counting locations, I get it. This is a problem. We need to have 24/7 security there, better chain of custody. And I guess I'll just close with the perception becomes reality. And with our elections, this has caused a lot of lack of confidence in our election process. It's laid it on your doorstep, whether you want it or not. That's where it is. And we can look at this. And in reality, a lot of this is a local issue. I don't know how much control you have over locals, but I think you need to have more oversight on them. And the public puts it on you. So I would suggest strongly that you see that there is more security and know that the people are watching. The people of Georgia, half of the state is not happy. So I think you realize that, and I would just ask you to please see that the security is there and know that we're here. We want to help and make these better. Thank you.
Chairwoman Taylor, Ms. Chairman Black, if I can go into that second question she had, was discussing the early scanning of our ballots. And I believe, Mr. Germany, the SCB passed a rule that allowed for it for 2 weeks for the general, but we've now changed that. If you want to go over that real quick.
Yes, that's right. Reminded me of your question. We did allow a rule for early scanning, but not tabulating of absentee ballots to try to deal with the issue that you highlighted, Chairwoman. And some counties did better than others. I think what we did see in Georgia is frankly, they counted ballots significantly faster than most other states. We had a very, very close election. So the amount, even the small amount of outstanding ballots was problematic. But, we've tried to get across to counties that, hey, if you are counting them days later, people think that means the ballot came in days later. That's not the case, but it's kind of an understandable jump from from public who's just interested in this. And so we want them to, say you've got to be keeping up with this as much as possible. For the January election, the state election board passed an emergency regulation, slightly changing the early scanning to go from for the last week, you have to do it. So that means we think that every county will be more caught up on election day, and then we'll be thinking of other ways too to make sure that, basically, I think the real problem is we want people to know that all the ballots other than military and overseas have to arrive by 7 p.m. on election night. And so the county should be able to put out, a good number of, okay, here's the universe of outstanding ballots for us. And we'll be working with counties to better get that across for the January 5th election.
Thank you, Mr. Germany. Representative Williamson. Your volume.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I appreciate the opportunity to ask a couple of questions. I'm trying to get to my questions. I guess my question is at this late date, and people seem to forget we've got a citizen legislature here, and many of us are at work and carving out time to take up this extremely important subject. My question is going to be directed to the Secretary himself. Is Secretary Raffensperger on the phone?
Yes.
So thank you, Mr. Secretary. I appreciate you joining us today and making this opportunity available for us to ask some hard questions. Just sort of in the same vein as Representative Taylor, we all represent different types of constituencies across this state. And my constituents are particularly upset about the perceived lack of transparency, the fact that they couldn't get anybody on the phone with the Secretary of State's fraud line. And just sort of fast forwarding is I have not heard any testimony today about answering some of the legitimate questions that folks have had about, frankly, what went on in Fulton County. Fulton County, as we all know, we've already discussed it in detail, that this is a county-run system throughout the state. But for over 20 years, in particular, Fulton County has never seemed to get their elections right. As recently as just past June, there was an AJC headline that read, virus, lack of preparation lead to Fulton County election disaster. So 20 years ago, I was searching for it. There was an article in the AJC where Representative John Lewis was saying it was a disaster, hours in line. 20 years ago, Fulton County was running their elections. Fast forward to this year, they're still running their elections, but it seems to me that there was not a lack of resources on the ground provided, be it training, money, observers, poll watchers, but just a complete mishandling of both the primary elections as well as the general election.
Christmas Carnigan. Yeah. You're looking at mostly sunny skies right now. I've got some clouds off to the west of us that will continue to push our way. We'll bring some rain a little bit later on this evening as well. Temperatures right now in the 50s just about everywhere you look, except down here in LaGrange, you're at 61 degrees there, 50 over in Duluth, 53 degrees in Carrollton, 45 up in Clayton at the current tower. The Wazometer is how we rate your weather on a scale from 1 to 11, with 11 being the most perfect day we can have for this time of year. Going to give it a 9. Again, 59 for the high. We are starting off with a little sunshine. Would have gave it a 10 if we had that mostly sunny sky like we had yesterday and the day before, but not quite there. Notice the rain just now starting to get underway over here into Mississippi and Louisiana. That is where we're going to see the possibility for some severe weather a little bit later on this afternoon as well. You see those southerly winds around this area of high pressure starting to push right on in, so it's tapping in on some of that moisture. The yellow here indicates a slight risk for severe weather. The dark green means a marginal risk, which is level 1 out of a possible 5. We are under the 0 out of 5 category, so general thunderstorms expected, not only for tonight, but into tomorrow morning as well. Let's see how it plays out. Here's our forecast track model. You can follow along with the time right there at the top of the screen. It shows the clouds continue to push in as we head further into the afternoon. Notice how that wall of rain really starts to get a little bit more organized. We'll have some heavy rain on top of us by tomorrow morning, moving into our northwestern counties first and then making its way down toward the metro. Now, it's here where we could see a few thunderstorms. Some gusty winds will be associated with a few of those as well. Notice how the model kicks it all out by the afternoon. So around 1 or 2 o'clock, the heaviest rain should be well east of us, but that colder air will start to rush in. And with lingering precipitation around, it could change over briefly to some flurries, especially for the north metro area. But up in the North Georgia mountains is where you could see maybe some accumulating snow showers. We'll be watching that. I don't think it will amount to much, maybe an inch, maybe up to 2 inches in the higher peaks, but that'll be it for us. So you may see, again, a flake or two, but no accumulating snow for the Atlanta metro area, unfortunately, for those of you who have been dreaming for it to take place. So not going to be the case. We will feel that cold air, though. You're looking at temperatures only around 25 degrees to start off Christmas morning. We'll get up to 37 degrees for a high, 48 on Saturday, and we'll gradually warm it up as we head through the rest of the weekend and into the beginning of next week.
Right after the break, why should Black people trust the COVID-19 vaccine? I talked one-on-one with one of Pfizer's principal vaccine investigators to answer some of your questions and concerns.
Your vote still matters. Stay involved, stay informed with journalism that gives you a real voice.
Breaking news, the hand tally of nearly 5 million votes is now complete.
Right now, no matter how you add it up, our cases are rising.
We do have a flash flood warning that just popped up here.
The hand retally, that's done. This is going to a recount, and the taxpayers will foot the bill for a third time.
Morning news should be both informative and fun.
Gone are the days where we're speaking at you. On Morning Rush, we're speaking with you.
So connect with us. Talk to us.
Think of it as a conversation.
Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
Quick, open your phone camera right now, aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
As COVID-19 continues to impact our state, the need for food is bigger than ever.
In fact, 1 in 4 kids in Metro Atlanta live in a home that lacks access to adequate food.
But here's how we can take action to help.
The next time you're shopping, grab some extra canned goods.
And drop them off at 11Alive's Canathon with contactless drop-off, December 4th.
Or visit 11alive.com/Canathon for 3 easy digital ways to give.
11Alive's annual Canathon. With your help, we can stamp out hunger in Atlanta.
Morning news should be informative and fun.
Yeah, and we do that here on Morning Rush with Verify, Connect the Dots, Why Guy, and more.
We love learning about new things and sharing them with you.
We make the news make sense.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
The Negro people had to leave. They were told to get out.
White only, no black!
1912, all but one issue has been erased.
We haven't had none up here since the first of the century.
What's the importance of making sure this history isn't erased?
So that it doesn't happen again.
Is your morning routine feeling a little routine?
Then mix it up.
Morning Rush is different.
It's the fast-paced news you need
With all the energy of your morning coffee.
Come see the difference on Morning Rush, weekdays on 11Alive.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Ram.
Here in Atlanta, bad weather means bad traffic. A few drops of rain could destroy a commute. But that's where
our COVID-19 coverage continues now with a closer look at the vaccines and why Black people should trust them. We have watched multiple frontline healthcare workers, nursing home residents, healthcare leaders, and lawmakers get vaccinated over the past week and a half. President-elect Joe Biden just telling us there's nothing to worry about after he got vaccinated. But Black Americans are worried and skeptical of the healthcare system. For some, just the talk of vaccines brings back decades of pain and trickery. Let me show you this. In a new 11Alive Survey USA poll, one of the questions we asked Georgians was how likely would you be to get the coronavirus vaccine? Only 19% of Black people said they are certain to get it. 33% Hispanic, 32% Asian, and 26% white. If you look at the numbers nationally, they're much higher. Black Americans continue to stand out as the largest group to say they'll pass on the vaccines, even though we're dying in disproportionate numbers from COVID. Joining me live now is one of Pfizer's principal vaccine investigators at Yale School of Medicine, Dr. Onyema Obuagu. He's one of the scientists who played a key role in developing the vaccine. Good morning to you, Dr. O.
Good morning, Sheba.
You were one of the first to get the vaccine at Yale last week. How are you feeling today? Any side effects afterward?
I'm doing great. It was a great moment to receive the vaccine because not only do I do clinical trials for the vaccine, but I'm also a frontline infectious disease physician caring for patients. And so it meant a lot to me to be one of the first in line to get the vaccine, and really just a model to everyone, especially those of our community, that that's safe, effective. And as you rightly asked, I'm doing fine, about a week off from my vaccine.
You had a little bit of pain in the arm though, right?
That is correct. I had a little bit of pain in the arm a day after the vaccine, and it went away a day after.
All right. So, in our conversation before you joined us live this morning, you told me that you're on a huge personal crusade to dispel some of the myths out there about the vaccine. So can we start with the stats? How many took part in the trials? What percentage were Black, and how many were actually given the vaccine?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So in the phase 3 trials, there were 44,000 unique individuals participated in the study. And one of the focuses of the study was to ensure that there was adequate representation by racial and ethnic minorities. And so for the Pfizer study, and I think Moderna study also had similar numbers, 10% of the participants were Black. In the Pfizer study, about 25% were Hispanic, and about 4.5% were Asian. So, definitely represented a diverse group of participants. And majority of those participants at the time the data was sent to the FDA, I think 90% or so had received both 2 doses of the vaccine.
So 10% of Black folks, you consider this a good sample size?
Yeah, I mean, it was it's adequate representation. I mean, some of us would like those numbers to be better, but we think that enough numbers to show that the efficacy of the vaccine was similar between Blacks and other races.
Were any of the volunteers, Doc, obese, suffering from diabetes or hypertension? Any cancer survivors in the group?
So that's a great question. So yes, the study did enroll a diverse group, multiple comorbidities. About 35% were obese, about 8.5% had a history of diabetes, about 25% had a history of hypertension. So it did cut across a whole swath of comorbidities that individuals had. And yes, we did include people who had cancer, except those who were actively on chemotherapy.
So our anatomies and physiologies as Black folks, they are different. There's no disputing that. A recent MIT study suggests coronavirus vaccines may be slightly less effective for Black and Asian people specifically. It even suggested adding a small number of additional COVID-19 peptides to a dose to make it more effective. Is this legit? Was it ever discussed by your team?
No, so for the Pfizer vaccine, we have no reason to believe that it behaves any differently in Blacks compared to whites, and that was the observation all through the clinical trial down to results that showed that for the protection against symptomatic COVID-19, that the results were similar across racial ethnic lines. So I really want to reassure people in our community that the results also speak for us, and hopefully that impacts our willingness to take the vaccine.
All right, and just finally here, Doc, having a hard time hearing you. How do you know that it's just as safe and effective in brown and Black bodies when it's been tested on more white people? I think that's the big thing that people want to know here.
Yeah, so again, I want to reassure everyone that the trial represented both white, Black, and brown communities, and that the studies found equal efficacy and no difference in safety signals by race and line. And so it's, one last point I want to make is that disease disproportionately affects Black and brown people, and I would hope that now that we have at least one pathway to protecting our communities against the disease, that we can galvanize efforts to try and get our communities get in line, roll up their sleeves, get the vaccine.
All right, Dr. Obuagu with Yale School of Medicine, we appreciate your time, especially during the holidays here. We know it's a busy time for you and your family. Father of 3, happy holidays to you and the family.
Thank you very much, Shiva.
All right, thank you.
11 street level forecast. That's a lot of tech and experience to help your commute.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
We're quite the combo.
The President of the United States was accusing you of voter fraud.
Oh, I know it, and I knew it wasn't fraud.
Mr. James Blaylock voted in the election, the president's campaign tweeted. The only problem, he passed away 14 years ago. False. James Blaylock did not vote. Mrs. James Blaylock voted. After our investigation, national news outlets owned up to their false claims, and the president's campaign deleted the tweet.
Weather changes can make or break your day. That's why the 11Alive storm trackers are always watching what's coming next, delivering accessible and accurate forecasts that prepare you, not scare you. For storm trackers, only on 11Alive.
COVID-19 is still spreading in Georgia. Now get facts, not fear, at 11alive.com/COVID numbers. Track cases by county using our interactive map and get the latest health department data. Visit 11alive.com/COVID numbers.
A sign of relief across half the nation. The rest feeling devastation.
In Georgia, we can now focus on the 2 Senate races here that are still unresolved.
It's not over yet. You can still make history. The balance of power in Georgia voters' hands, whatever side you take, could determine the nation's fate. Your vote still matters. Stay involved, stay informed with journalism that gives you a real voice.
Breaking news, the hand tally of nearly 5 million votes is now complete.
Right now, no matter how you add it up, our cases are rising.
We do have a flash flood warning that just popped up here.
The hand retally, that's done. This is going to a recount, and the taxpayers will foot the bill for a 3rd time.
Morning news should be both informative and fun.
Gone are the days where we're speaking at you. On Morning Rush, we're speaking with you.
So connect with us. Talk to us.
Think of it as a conversation.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
Quick, open your phone camera right now, aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
As COVID-19 continues to impact our state, the need for food is bigger than ever.
In fact, 1 in 4 kids in Metro Atlanta live in a home that lacks access to adequate food.
But here's how we can take action to help.
The next time you're shopping, grab some extra canned goods.
And drop the
them off at 11Alive's Can-a-thon with contactless drop-off December 4th.
Or visit 11.
11Alive News at noon starts now. Last-minute scramble on Capitol Hill in a surprise move. President Trump threatening to veto the COVID relief package and demanding bigger stimulus checks. What the House Speaker just proposed on Twitter to make it happen. A scary night at a popular skating rink. 2 people are shot in the parking lot. What we've learned about the events leading up to the gunfire.
The bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace.
Deal in doubt? In a video posted to Twitter, President Trump threatening to veto the $900 billion COVID relief bill just passed by Congress and demanding bigger stimulus checks for millions of struggling Americans, $2,000 instead of $600. The president also demanding Congress get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items in the legislation and to send him a suitable bill. Those were his words. And just about an hour ago, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi taking to Twitter and pushing for the president to sign the bill, but also to urge Republican leaders to agree with what's being described as Democratic unanimous consent request for $2,000 in direct payments. This is something separate from the COVID relief bill. She says it can be done by Christmas Eve, which is tomorrow. President Chris Pallone is in D.C. right now following the latest developments.
After signaling he would sign the $900 billion COVID-19 aid package, President Trump now seems to be threatening to veto it. In a video posted to Twitter, the president complained the bill's $600 cash payment to Americans is too small.
I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple.
Democrats who fought for a bigger payment pounced. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeting, "Let's do it." But time is running short. The federal government will shut down Monday if a spending bill isn't signed. It was a busy day for the president, who also announced a flurry of pardons, forgiving 4 Blackwater contractors, 3 former Republican congressmen, a campaign advisor who lied to the FBI, and a London-based lawyer, the first person sentenced in the Russia investigation.
If it were you and I, we would be sitting our butts in a jail cell for a good long stretch of time.
It happened as the U.S. saw its deadliest day from the coronavirus yet, 3,350 deaths. 2 more prominent government officials got vaccine shots on camera to encourage Americans to do the same.
I want to encourage everyone who has the opportunity to get vaccinated so that we could have a veil of protection over this country that would end this pandemic.
President-elect Biden, in a pre-Christmas speech, once again blasted the president's handling of the pandemic.
Experts say things are going to get worse before they get better,
warning the nation's darkest days are still ahead.
We have not received an official statement on the president's challenge from any of our representatives in Congress. Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler have also been quiet today. Their Democratic opponents in the upcoming runoffs, meanwhile, have called for them and Congress to support the change. The latest figures show at least 803,000 people remain unemployed, lower than last week. We're talking about the new unemployment numbers right now. They were just released today, like every Wednesday, but evidence that the job market remains under stress 9 months after millions of layoffs related to the coronavirus outbreak. Georgia also saw a slight decline, with just a little more than 23,000 Georgians filing first-time claims. That number is down by roughly 360 Georgians. The latest COVID-19 numbers in our state are very concerning here. The state reporting more than 6,200 new infections yesterday. That is well above our 7-day average and a new record. This is the first time this month we've hit more than 6,000 cases in a single day. We're also seeing a record number of people needing medical care due to the virus. There are more than 3,700 COVID patients statewide right now, and that puts us right at record levels, and we're still climbing. Tragically, another 50 people have died. It appears we're starting to see more deaths in connection with the surge in cases following the Thanksgiving holiday. We're keeping track of COVID-19 here in Georgia for you. For the latest updates, plus a breakdown of our daily COVID-19 numbers, just visit 11alive.com. Right now, millions of Americans are traveling for the holiday season, with Christmas just a couple of days away right now. And many of them are ignoring CDC guidelines, urging folks to just stay at home to stop the spread of COVID-19. Joe Ripley joining us live now from Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta. Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Joe, how's the traffic looking right now?
It's still going pretty steadily along. Checking on those security wait times, that has significantly reduced. According to the airport's website, those are now down to about 5 to 10 minutes. But as you can see, still a steady stream of passengers being dropped off. This line sort of held up right now in the last couple of minutes. But we do know people are traveling, and they're doing so despite CDC recommendations against it, as well as a surge in COVID-19 cases. The CDC issuing the same warning during the Thanksgiving holiday. TSA tracked almost 10 million passengers during that time period, the most since the pandemic started. And you can see what the airport looked like in the early stages of this pandemic. AAA estimates millions will travel for the Christmas and New Year's holidays. Already, TSA has logged more than 1 million passengers 3 days in a row. With a slight dip in volume this past Monday, the numbers are nearing the million mark once again, just 2 days out from Christmas.
My son haven't seen his father since February for his birthday, and I need a break. I need a break. In homeschool, and I need a break.
I think people want normal. Like they're ready to be with family and travel and see people, and they're willing to take risks to be able to do that.
Health officials' warnings not stopping many travelers, millions of them. Health officials say if you do travel this holiday season, make sure you quarantine based off those guidelines according to your local health department and get tested for COVID-19.
Well, we're looking at a beautiful afternoon as folks are starting to head out to the airport, maybe hitting the roads. We have the sunshine out there right now. I don't know if you can see in the distance. This is the Blue Ridge Mountains here, our window into the Blue Ridge Mountains. You can see the clouds in the background. They will continuously move in as we head through the rest of the afternoon. So you get to see the sunshine here on the radar now, but the clouds back off to the west. More of those will pull our way later on this afternoon. We're going to wind up with mostly cloudy skies probably by about 5 or 6 o'clock this evening. The rain won't come until after the sun sets, probably not until about 7, 8 o'clock. We'll start to see some light showers, some isolated showers pushing into the forecast area. Temperatures are in the 50s just about everywhere you look. 61 right now in LaGrange. We got 59 degrees in Thomaston, 46 the cool spot all the way up there in Rabun County up toward Clayton. Here's your forecast for today. We'll hit 54 degrees by noon, looking at 59 for your 3 o'clock hour. So nice and mild this afternoon. We'll drop back down to 52 with mostly cloudy skies by 7, and those temperatures won't change all that much. In fact, we're going to stay warm as we head into Christmas Eve, but the rain will be with us. Temperatures will be falling through the day, and a very cold Christmas day on tap with highs only around 37 degrees. Make sure you get your mind ready for that cold air coming in. We'll have more on your Christmas outlook coming up.
Woo, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. Chesley, thank you so much. Atlanta police are searching for the person who shot 2 people last night in southwest Atlanta. It happened during family night in the parking lot of the Cascade skating rink on MLK Jr. Drive. Police say an altercation between some men led to one of them pulling out a gun. One of the victims was shot in the shoulder, the other grazed.
On December 12th, Bill Murphy said his son Will J was in a car with friends to go look at Christmas lights when a drunk driver on I-75 rammed into their car. Will J will recover, but he has 2 fractured vertebrae and soreness on the left side of his body. The driver who hit them, LAMAR McFarland, is facing numerous charges, including DUI.
And 30 people are now homeless this holiday season after fire ripped through their apartment community. This is video from the large blaze in McDonough off Crossing Boulevard. You can see the flames shooting from the roof. This happened just before 8 last night. Thankfully, no one was injured. Almost 800 audition tapes, the result of an Atlanta symphony project that left even them surprised. We'll be right back.
News, the hand tally of nearly 5 million votes is now complete.
Right now, no matter how you add it up, our cases are rising.
We do have a flash flood warning that just popped up here.
The hand retally, that's done. This is going to a recount, and the taxpayers will foot the bill for a 3rd time.
Morning news should be both informative and fun.
Gone are the days where we're speaking at you. On Morning Rush, we're speaking with you.
So connect with us.
Talk to us. Think of it as a conversation.
Morning Rush weekdays, 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
Quick, open your phone camera right now, aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
As COVID-19 continues to impact our state, the need for food is bigger than ever.
In fact, 1 in 4 kids in Metro Atlanta live in a home that lacks access to adequate food.
But here's how we can take action to help.
The next time you're shopping, grab some extra canned goods.
And drop them off at 11Alive's Canathon with contactless drop-off, December 4th.
Or visit 11alive.com/Canathon for 3 easy digital ways to give.
11Alive's annual Canathon. With your help, we can stamp out hunger in Atlanta.
Morning news should be informative and fun.
Yeah, and we do that here on Morning Rush with Verify, Connect the Dots, Why Guy, and more.
We love learning about new things and sharing them with you.
We make the news make sense.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
The Negro people had to leave. They were told to get out.
White only, no black!
1912, all but one issue has been erased.
We haven't had none up here since the 1st of the century.
What's the importance of making sure this history isn't erased?
So that it doesn't happen again.
Is your morning routine feeling a little routine?
Then mix it up.
Morning Rush is different.
It's the fast-paced news you need
With all the energy of your morning coffee.
Come see the difference on Morning Rush weekdays on 11Alive.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms.
A group of women who say they experienced medical abuse while in ICE custody are taking their fight to federal court. The investigations at the Irwin County Detention Center in Georgia began after a whistleblower accused a gynecologist of performing unnecessary hysterectomies and other procedures. Since then, dozens of women have come forward, some saying they were deported shortly after sharing their stories, some after refusing the surgeries. Lawyers filed a class action complaint this week on behalf of 14 women. The legal filing includes sworn testimony from 40 women. Advocates say the lawsuit is ultimately seeking accountability.
The more we looked into what was happening at Irwin County Detention Center, the more it became clear that this is not a situation of a couple of isolated incidents. It's a broad pattern of medical abuse rising to the level of sexual assault in some instances.
Immigration and Customs and also the Georgia doctor have not responded to the lawsuit yet. A hearing is scheduled in the case in February. Chesley.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you get a chance to get outside and enjoy, let's say, the clouds rolling in. You got your shopping done, got your food shopping done, wrapped your gifts, you're all done. You can take a breather, go outside, experience nature. Well, you're having the clouds roll in. This is a look at Piedmont Park. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Yeah, so you can watch the clouds roll in. I mentioned earlier, maybe only have to wear your Christmas cardigan like my producer has on his Christmas cardigan today. We're looking at 59 degrees for your afternoon high temperature, so mild enough again that you can get away with a sweater. Started out on the chilly side, of course. We started out with those temperatures in the low 30s in a lot of spots this morning. Not worried about that right now. We also are watching the clouds back off to the west. They will continuously roll in. Could bring a shower or two with them. I'm thinking closer to maybe 10 o'clock tonight, and that would be a slight chance. Better chance that rain comes in by tomorrow morning, and I'm talking about some very heavy rain. So if you're going to be traveling, it's best to do it today if you can. Driving, that is. You're going to be driving around. By the time you hit tomorrow morning and through early afternoon, we're going to have some heavy rain around and possibly a couple thunderstorms. Right now, temperatures are in the 50s for the most part. You got 55 degrees. Nichols there in Atlanta. 61, the warm spot down LaGrange. Cool spot would be Clayton. Looking at 46 right now, so that is the cool spot. Everywhere else you're in the 50s. Again, you can see where we have just a few clouds overhead throughout the forecast area, and it's because of a cold front that's going to continue to push further into our area. We'll watch that front as it moves over toward the east, and it will bring some very heavy rain with it. Now that rain just now starting to get underway. You can see how the rain right now is just now starting to materialize here. More of that will start to intensify a bit as well as we head further into the afternoon, expecting some heavy rain, especially down here to the south over toward Louisiana, southern parts of Mississippi, that is where we could see some of that weather turn severe. In fact, there is a slight risk for severe weather. You can see that stretches from Louisiana all the way over to the extreme western panhandle of Florida. The dark green here is a level 1. It's a marginal risk that exists for much of the state of Mississippi. Now, this will advance east, but notice we're in the light green, which just means general thunderstorms. Well, we'll continue to see that even as we head into the day tomorrow. Here's how it all plays out. Our forecast track model shows the clouds increasing for the rest of the afternoon. Rain advances toward the east, but we'll only have a slight chance for showers tonight. Tomorrow morning, by the time we wake up, you'll see, or at least hear, some of that heavy rain, maybe even a clap of thunder or two. Behind this front is some very cold air. That whole air will be moving in as the front passes through. Now, our model shows that most of the heavy rain should be well east of us by the time that cold air gets in here, but there could be some lingering precipitation where we could see maybe a flake or two flying around as far south as Atlanta. Up here in the North Georgia mountains is where you could get some accumulating snow, but in the higher elevations, maybe up to an inch, maybe 2 inches in the higher peaks. But that's where it will be refined to, and we're talking about light amounts there as well. So we're not looking at much of a white Christmas around here at all. In fact, technically, you'd have to have at least an inch on the ground for it to be a white Christmas. Either way, Christmas Day is going to be very, very cold. Temperatures will only start off around 25 degrees. We'll get up to 37 for a high, but at least we'll have the sunshine around. How about Kwanzaa? Saturday, looking at 23 degree start, 48 will be the high, and then we'll get to 50s as we head into the latter half of the weekend and into early next week. Sheba, back to you, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you too, Chesley. The pandemic making it impossible for the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra to host concerts in person this year. So they've been finding creative ways to keep people connected through music. They asked for video submissions, and the result was amazing. Here's Bill Liss and the Ode to Joy.
They expected 50 applications. They got 800. They came in every size with every instrument. Jerry Ho, who conducts the Atlanta Youth Orchestra, was in for a monumental task.
We would have loved to include everyone, but it wasn't possible. So we pulled a sampling that showed the range of entries we received for the final montage. And as the world celebrates Beethoven's 250th birthday, this seemed like the perfect tribute. So thank you, Atlanta, for joining us on this journey. And here is the result.
If that doesn't get you into the holiday spirit, I don't know what will. You can hear more of the talented musicians when we present an encore performance of the ASO's holiday celebration on Christmas Day at 5 p.m. on the WATL, Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. When it comes to buying a car, sticker price leaving some with sticker shock. From dealer to delivery fees, a look at why there are so many hidden fees driving up car prices.
The hand retally, that's done. This is going to a recount, and the taxpayers will foot the bill for a third time.
Morning news should be both informative and fun.
Gone are the days where we're speaking at you. On Morning Rush, we're speaking with you.
So connect with us. Talk to us. Think of it as a conversation.
Morning Rush weekdays, 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
Quick, open your phone camera right now, aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
As COVID-19 continues to impact our state, the need for food is bigger than ever.
In fact, 1 in 4 kids in Metro Atlanta live in a home that lacks access to adequate food.
But here's how we can take action to help.
The next time you're shopping, grab some extra canned goods.
And drop them off at 11Alive's Canathon with contactless drop-off, December 4th.
Or visit 11alive.com/Canathon for 3 easy digital ways to give.
11Alive's annual Canathon. With your help, we can stamp out hunger in Atlanta.
Morning news should be informative and fun.
Yeah, and we do that here on Morning Rush with Verify, Connect the Dots, Why Guy, and more.
We love learning about new things and sharing them with you.
We make the news make sense.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
The Negro people had to leave. They were told to get out.
White only, no black!
1912, all but one issue has been erased.
We haven't had none up here since the 1st of the century.
What's the importance of making sure this history isn't erased?
So that it doesn't happen again.
Is your morning routine feeling a little routine?
Then mix it up.
Morning Rush is different.
It's the fast-paced news you need
With all the energy of your morning coffee.
Come see the difference on Morning Rush weekdays on 11Alive.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Ram.
Here in Atlanta, bad weather means bad traffic. A few drops of rain could destroy a commute. But that's where my man Crash Clark comes in. I go street level, he goes next level. Together, we make sure you get to work on time. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive. Hey, quick, open up your phone camera right now. Aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you right to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
Journalism that gives.
If you've got the means, maybe you're considering a new car for Christmas. There are certainly plenty of sales this time of year. Sometimes the final price of an automobile can include fees that leave you scratching your head like, why? All right, here's our why guy to help you understand.
Finding the right car at the right price isn't always easy. After all of the haggling and negotiating, the final price might lead you to ask, what's that? There are taxes, vehicle registration, and title fees that probably won't surprise you. Then there are times when you wonder what you're getting for your money.
These aren't fees that necessarily have to be charged to the customer.
Let's look at why there are fees tacked onto the price of a car that may leave you wondering. For customers, the biggest mystery may be the dealer fee, sometimes known as a documentation fee. It's how some dealerships charge customers for preparing and filing paperwork related to the sale of a vehicle.
It can be anywhere from $500 to $1,000.
Ryan Keaton is with Carvana, the online used car dealership that promises not to charge documentation fees.
What's hard is it appears really late in the process. It's really kind of hard to walk away or say no at that point.
Some states limit what the dealership can charge for a dealer or documentation fee, but most do not. You might see something called a destination fee. The National Association of Automobile Dealers says manufacturers will charge to ship a vehicle from the factory to the dealership. You could also see an advertising fee. That's your contribution to help pay for the dealership's commercials. According to Georgia's Department of Consumer Affairs, fees like this have to be in the advertised price. Keaton says it's worth your time to reach out to a dealership before you visit to ask what fees they charge.
If it doesn't kind of feel right to you, you've done your research and like, hey, the stock fee doesn't feel right, I don't necessarily want to pay it. You absolutely should push back.
He's not alone in suggesting it should be part of the haggling that goes with buying a car.
Ooh, I love to haggle for a new car, too. If you have a question for Jerry Carnes, our Why Guy, be sure to send it to us on Facebook, Twitter, or email. We'll be right back.
Right now, no matter how you add it up, our cases are rising.
We do have a flash flood warning that just popped up here.
The hand retally, that's done. This is going to a recount, and the taxpayers will foot the bill for a third time.
Morning news should be both informative and fun.
Gone are the days where we're speaking at you. On Morning Rush, we're speaking with you.
So connect with us. Talk to us. Think of it as a conversation.
Morning Rush weekdays, 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
Quick, open your phone camera right now, aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
As COVID-19 continues to impact our state, the need for food is bigger than ever.
In fact, 1 in 4 kids in Metro Atlanta live in a home that lacks access to adequate food.
But here's how we can take action to help.
The next time you're shopping, grab some extra canned goods.
And drop them off at 11Alive's Canathon with contactless drop-off, December 4th.
Or visit 11alive.com/Canathon for 3 easy digital ways to give.
11Alive's annual Canathon. With your help, we can stamp out hunger in Atlanta.
Morning news should be informative and fun.
Yeah, and we do that here on Morning Rush with Verify, Connect the Dots, Why Guy, and more.
We love learning about new things and sharing them with you.
We make the news make sense.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
The Negro people had to leave. They were told to get out.
White only, no black!
1912, all but one issue has been erased.
We haven't had none up here since the 1st of the century.
What's the importance of making sure this history isn't erased?
So that it doesn't happen again.
Is your morning routine feeling a little routine?
Then mix it up.
Morning Rush is different.
It's the fast-paced news you need
with all the energy of your morning coffee.
Come see the difference on Morning Rush weekdays on 11Alive.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Ram.
Here in Atlanta, bad weather means bad traffic. A few drops of rain could destroy a commute. But that's where my man Crash Clark comes in. I go street level, he goes next level. Together, we make sure you get to work on time. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive. Hey, quick, open up your phone camera right now. Aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will
A favorite dish can take you back to a moment in time. And for that favorite to come to you, well, that's even better. That was the gift for seniors at Woodland Ridge Assisted Living in Smyrna yesterday. The nonprofit Second Wind Dreams helped arrange a visit from the Varsity Food Truck. The seniors say it reminded them of great times after school dances or football, enjoying cheeseburgers and chili dogs.
We go there after dances. It's really a treat now. But it's amazing that they've kept it open this long.
The Varsity provided about 50 meals there. And Atlanta's own T.I. spreading holiday cheer throughout Metro Atlanta this week. First, the rapper brought gifts to children at Hughes Hall Spalding Children's Hospital. He then told 50 young men from the Next Level Boys Academy in Union City that you can get whatever you like with a shopping trip to DTLR to get some new gear for the holidays. Love to see the holiday spirit. Thank you so much for watching 11Alive News at noon. Stay safe, everyone.
Live storm trackers are always watching what's coming next, delivering accessible and accurate forecasts that prepare you, not scare you. For storm trackers, only on 11Alive.
COVID-19 is still spreading in Georgia. Now get facts, not fear, at 11alive.com/COVID numbers. Track cases by county using our interactive map and get the latest health department data. Visit 11alive.com/COVID numbers.
A sign of relief across half the nation. The rest feeling devastation.
In Georgia, we can now focus on